All across the world is a variety of cultures, traditions, religions, and people that create their own sense of community and growth as they develop within their social groups, isolated from others. This sense of community and family stands out the most for tribesmen that rely on not only each other for survival, but on the values and traditions they have held since their conception. Of course, it isn't much of a mystery then that some of these tribes, isolated from the rest of the world, began on their own separate path from the general population and developed new ways to tackle difficult problems they and their tribesmen faced. What is a mystery, however, is that some of these developments from isolated tribes from around the world have baffled scientists and challenged what we used to believe was possible for humans to be able to accomplish. So here are 5 tribes who are believed to have superpowers from around the world. The Kalin Jin of Kenya. Known as the Running Tribe, the people of the Kalin Jin tribe of Kenya occupy the majority of the Rift Valley in this region and make up an incredibly large population of almost 5 million people living in the area. These tribesmen come from an ancient line of people that originated in the valley and have been living in these ancient homelands since the 2nd millennia BC. It is peculiar in most regard then that despite issues where they predominantly reside relative to developments, necessary and healthy diets, physical activity and other environmental factors that can contribute to lack of nourishment, nutrition and standard of living, that the Kalin Jin tribe of Kenya has such a tremendous advantage compared to the rest of the world in regards to athletic prowess. Since the middle of the 1960s, the residents and population that arise from the Kalin Jin tribe of Kenya have won the largest collective share of major honours in international athletics from anywhere of distances between the 800-metre dash to the marathon, making their tiny tribe the most decorated runners in the world for the categories of track and field. Involvement in competitions became more popular for the tribe from the 1980s, and so on, where at about this time the tribe had received a little more than 40% of the top honours available to men in all international athletics at the categories of track and field, including competitions such as Olympic medals, World Championship medals, World Cross Country Championship honours and many other international competitions. Given these statistics and advancements, scientists and researchers have been puzzled as to the athletic prowess of the tribe, and further research has shown that there are many factors that could be playing into their overall ability to perform consistently high-level endurance and strength over great distances. It is also important to note that it is specifically people from this tribe that have the capability at performing consecutively at such a level, as studies have found that others in the region that are not a part of the tribe do not possess the same abilities relative to athletic prowess. Bajau people of Indonesia. Referred to and commonly nicknamed the sea nomads, the Bajau people of Indonesia live a complex seaborne life, with their earliest traditions going back to the time of their native ancestors that used the area for its rich resources in the waters and lived the majority of their lives on the oceans. Even today, there are still a vast amount of individuals within the tribe living their lives in small houseboats they refer to as leapers, and travel alongside other houseboats filled with their next of kin and immediate family. Interestingly enough, this small tribe of approximately 1 million people has the incredible ability to spend the majority of their time underwater that greatly exceeds what scientists, researchers, and health experts used to consider and believe was humanly possible. The Bajau people of Indonesia are world-renowned for their advanced abilities in freediving, and because of this can spend up to 5 hours per day underwater on average. At a very early age, the Bajau people will intentionally rupture their eardrums to be able to dive at greater depths and see to engage in long underwater searches and hunts. The true anomaly in their abilities, however, is the fact that the people of this remote tribe have the incredible ability of being able to hold their breath on average for a total of 30 minutes at a depth of 200 feet, roughly 20 stories deep. For comparison with this statistic, the average person can only hold their breath for roughly 45 seconds to a minute, meaning that by the time you have surfaced for air 13 times, the Bajau people of Indonesia will only be coming up for a quick breath. This is made all the more impressive at the depths they are able to hold their breath at, which for an average person could more than halve their breath-holding capacity. If you are wondering how this incredible feat is made possible, so are the researchers who have not yet been able to crack the code as to the tribe's ability to perform such an extraordinary act. A few scientists have found that after analysing differences in the bodies of the tribesmen, that residents of the population have a spleen that is roughly 50% larger than the average population. Early theories as to the regulation of oxygen-rich blood and the ability to hold their breath have been tied to this finding that has led researchers to believe that perhaps at greater depths after the spleen has contracted due to underwater pressures, it begins to expel oxygen-rich blood stored in the organ that allows continually underwater breathing for a prolonged period of time. The Sherpas. Located around the Himalayan mountains, the Sherpas are a tribe that originated from the native Nepalese and developed special adaptations for their living conditions on the tallest and coldest mountains of the world. The Sherpas are regarded by even the most experienced mountain climbers as the elite experts in the world of hiking and mountain climbing, and due to this are often hired on as guides or climbing supporters for mountaineering expeditions in the Himalayan region. Interestingly enough, the Sherpas have developed unique advantages in the world of mountain climbing and high altitude conditions. Not only do their traditions allow them to learn advanced climbing techniques early on, but the Sherpas have special genetic adaptations to living at high altitudes that include richer oxygen levels in their blood and the ability to produce nitric oxide at double the normal rate of the average individual. Not only this, but given their long durations of being exposed to blistering weather and extremely cold conditions, the Sherpas have developed special brown fats that have a high ability to generate natural heat in the body and prevent the cold from doing any lasting damaging effects to their bodies, and to even prevent shivering in otherwise intolerable conditions. Native Ecuadorians with Laron syndrome. One of the most radical and revolutionary discoveries of the modern century has to do with the genetic advancements and supposed superpower of the native Ecuadorians that were born with the genetic defect of Laron syndrome. After researchers began to notice a lack of cancer development in the native Ecuadorian population among those with Laron syndrome, a genetic defect that causes a form of dwarfism, they began looking into the anomaly with startling results. For some unknown reason that, if better understood, could help us cure cancer in the modern era, research biologists have found that native Ecuadorians with Laron syndrome have the supernatural ability to not develop cancers of any kind. In fact, when tests were attempted to form cancer-causing cells in retrieved healthy cells of individuals of this population, they immediately began annihilating themselves rather than to grow and spread into tumours and replicating growths. This ability is so valuable to the discovery of potential cures that a substantial amount of research efforts and genetic treatment analysis have been conducted relative to this population that could work to help save a tremendous amount of lives across the world and allow people to not have to worry about cancer-related issues in the future. The Okinawan people of Japan. Probably the most interesting superpower to be discussed today is a power that is held by the Okinawan people of Japan that have such an incredibly high statistic in regards to longevity that the average life expectancy of an Okinawan is far exceeding even in the neighbouring people surrounding them, leading them to hold the title of the most long-lived peoples on Earth. The strangeness of this occurrence eludes even the most advanced attempts at researching this cause, as there is no apparent evolutionary cause of this longevity and no advancements in genetic research relative to the Okinawans that help to shed any light on the matter. Though the incredibly long lifespans of the Okinawans is believed by scientists and research biologists to arise from genetic factors, the lack of any substantial findings leads researchers to believe the cause could be from a form of genetic mutation and a combination of surrounding environmental factors. It is found that the Okinawan people have several traditions that could boost the longevity of even normal individuals elsewhere in the world, such as personal gardens that grow medicinal herbs of all varieties, an active lifestyle to help stay in shape, a lot of exposure to sun for a boost of vitamin D, a reliance on a primarily plant-based diet, and the embracement of a centuries-old tradition called Ikigai that teaches the Okinawan people to live a purpose-imbued life and to persevere through any obstacle thrown their way. There are many researchers who deny these environmental claims, however, as other Japanese populations follow these traditions and still do not have such high levels of longevity amongst their populations. But what do you think of these tribes and their special superpowers? Do you have your own theories to help explain what could be happening and their unbelievable advancements and revolutionary breakthroughs in regards to human limitations? Be sure to leave your answers and questions in the comment section below. This has been 5 tribes who are believed to have superpowers. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.